Hey Sparkle Squad, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Jasmine and welcome to my channel. Today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a tutorial on how to do a single Lutz in figure skating. So I hope this video is going to be helpful for you guys, and without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so before we get started learning how to do a Lutz, the jumps that you're going to need to have before you start Lutz is a nice solid loop and also a nice solid flip, because loop is like the base of a Lutz, because jumps are separated. I think I've already told you guys this, but it's Welch jump, salto, and toe are all like Welch jumps, and then loop, flip, and Lutz are all loop jumps. So what we're going to do is you want to make sure that you have a nice solid single loop and also a nice solid single flip, because that's going to help you with the foundation of your Lutz, and it's going to make it a little bit easier for you to learn how to do those. And if you guys don't know how to do a loop or a flip, I'll have those linked down below in the description box if you want to check out those videos. Alright guys, so before we get started with Lutz, I wanted to go over what the most important aspect of a Lutz is. So the differentiating the things that tells you the difference between your flip and a Lutz is that a flip takes off an inside edge and a Lutz takes off an outside edge. So they're basically the exact same jump, just the edge is changing before you jump up into the air. And it's pretty difficult. Flip is the easier one, because that one you're just falling into your circle and you're going up into your flip. Lutz is really difficult for people because of the edge, and it makes it really hard to get that nice crisp outside edge on your Lutz. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over to the wall, and what we're going to do is we're going to get into a Lutz position, which is going to be almost exactly the same as a flip. So for me, since I'm a righty, I have my right leg behind me with my toe in the ice. And if you guys are a lefty, then you're going to have your left leg behind you with your toe in the ice. So basically, if you're a lefty, you're going to reverse everything that I'm showing you guys here. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to get into this position, and this leg that is bent in front of me, for me it's my left leg, for you guys it's going to be whatever leg you guys have in front. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to practice this flick motion. On a flip, what we do is we go on an inside edge and then we flick. On a Lutz, we're going to go back and we're going to go on an outside edge. So we're going to turn our foot out. So we're kind of going to be gliding on like this outside edge. So we're going to go right here, and we're going to be on the outer edge of our foot as it glides as we come in. And then right here, our feet are kind of going to look like this. Right before we take off, our feet are going to be in like this triangle point shape. So that's how you're going to know that you're doing it right. So if you guys need help, then you can record yourself doing it in slow motion or have a friend record you, and then you can check your feet to make sure that you're doing it correctly. So what we're going to do is once we have this, we come together, and then this foot is actually going to flick up, and you want to hear that scraping noise. So it's going to go here and flick. So we're going to work on this motion until we get comfortable with doing that outside edge on the Lutz, and this is definitely going to help a lot with getting that Lutz edge on the Lutz off the wall a lot easier, and this is going to help a lot and save you a lot of time. Alright guys, so now we're going to come off of the wall, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to start working on that Lutz. So we're going to start from standstill, so we're not going to have any entry basically right now into it. So we're just going to be standing in that same position that we were on in the wall, this flip position, whatever you want to call it. It's almost like a lunge. So we're going to have our foot behind us, and we're going to be balanced here. We're going to have our arms checked, so it's going to be the same arm that is the same arm as the leg that is in front of you, and the same arm as the leg that's behind you. So we're just going to be like this, and then what we're going to be doing is we're going to go from here, we're going to drag our feet together, and we're going to gently go onto that outside edge. So this is what we're going to look like. So we're going to go here, outside edge, and then right here we're going to go on our flick. And once we're jumping up into the air, this arm is actually going to follow our leg. So I'm going to do it this way so that you guys can see it a little bit better. So we're going to be right here. This arm is going to come through with our leg. So they're going to be kind of like going together, as you can see. This arm is actually going to be going down. So you're kind of switching your arms as you're doing it. So again, we're going to go here. Once we flick, this arm goes through, and then we're going to do half a rotation off of that. So we're going to go here, pick, through, and just a half a rotation. So it's going to be a little bit tricky. And if you guys have noticed that this outside edge actually creates more rotation. So it's going to be a little bit harder for you guys to get that slower amount of rotation or smaller amount. So it's going to be, it makes you rotate faster, which is why it's a lot easier for a lot of people to get double Lutzes and triple Lutzes and stuff like that. So we're going to go here again, through, and jump, and we're just going to do a half rotation off of that. Alright, so now what we're going to be doing is we're going to try and add another quarter of a rotation to it. So we're only going to be doing 3/4 of rotation right now. So we're going to go here, we're going to go through, and we're going to jump, and we're kind of going to be landing right the opposite direction. So we're going to go here, and we're going to pick in our position. We're also still doing this from standstill. So we're going to go here, and we're going to go through, and we're going to jump up in the air, and we're going to do 3/4 of a rotation. So let me show you guys what that looks like. Again, this is going to be a little bit difficult, but we're still only landing on 2 feet, so that should make it a little bit easier for you guys. So we're going to go here, pick, through, and 3/4 of a rotation. So mainly our main focus, and the reason that we're doing this from standstill right now, is because we want to make sure that we're really focusing on that outside edge, because it's really difficult that if you get a Lutz from an inside edge, then it's going to be really difficult to change it later in the future. So you want to make sure that you're already establishing that outside edge once you're first learning your Lutz. So we're going to go here again, and flick, and up. We're going to work on that until we're comfortable with it, and then we can start adding more rotations. Alright guys, so I think that I wanted to add really quickly before we continue with the rotation, is I wanted to add something that you guys might notice on a Lutz, and this is normal for everybody, you don't have to panic, but when we're doing it, because we're really focusing on getting that outside edge, and we're really pressing on that foot when we're going up into the jump and flicking it, then you're going to really feel it on the side of your leg that is going right here on this outside edge. So you should kind of feel like a little bit of pressure or tension right there on that side of the leg, because it's a lot of pressure. Obviously, almost all of your weight is going onto this outside edge. So you have to be really careful. And when you guys are first learning Lutz, I really recommend that you don't do too many at once, because you don't want to make sure, you don't want to get any tendonitis, because if you do a lot of them, then you might get tendonitis on the side of your leg. So you have to be really careful with Lutz. But if you guys don't feel it, you want to make sure that you feel it, because if you're not feeling it, then that means that you're not doing the outside edge. So it's kind of like an indication that you are doing the outside edge, but I want you guys to be careful and make sure that you're not doing too many Lutzes, because I don't want any of you guys to get injured. Alright guys, so now what we're going to be doing is we're going to add a little bit of speed going into our Lutz. So what we're actually going to be doing is we're going to get a couple of crossovers, and I'm going to show you guys how we do it. There's multiple different entries that you can do into it, and this is actually going to make it a lot easier for you to do your full rotation off of it, and getting the speed is going to make it just a whole lot easier, but you still have to be careful that you remain, like that you keep on doing that outside edge on your Lutz, and you don't want to lose it, because it's going to create a bad habit, and you don't want to have to fix that later on. So some of the entries that are really common is a lot of people just like to go around the corner, and they go around the corner and they jump in one of like the corner circles. So they just go like this, backward crossovers, and they're gliding backwards just like this. So they're kind of gliding on an outside edge. I'll show you guys a little bit later what I'm talking about. And then another one that is also really common is the one that I actually really prefer, is I like going forwards, and I do mine on a straight line. So this is the one that a lot of people, it's starting to become more common between people. So it's basically you're gliding forwards, you're skating forwards, and then you do a mohawk, and then you cross, and then you pick into your Lutz. This one's a little bit more advanced, so I do recommend starting off with the first takeoff that I was showing you guys, where you're just gliding on a nice backward outside edge on a big circle, and then just going into your Lutz, and that's also going to help you get used to doing that outside edge on your Lutz. So I'm going to show you guys both of those takeoffs and what they look like out big, so that you guys can kind of get an idea of which one you might want to try. Alright guys, so now what we're going to be doing is we're going to start to do the full rotation, and we're still going to be landing on 2 feet. We're not going to land on 1 foot yet. So again, what we're going to be doing is we're not going to go full out big takeoff, but we are going to get a little bit of speed to help us do our Lutz. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going backwards, and we're going to go like this, and we're just going to be gliding kind of backwards. You can pick your foot up, or you can just glide with your foot crossed. So we're either gliding in like this crossed foot position or on a nice outside edge. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to go here, glide on an outside edge, pick, flip, and full rotation, and we're going to land gliding backwards on 2 feet. So again, we're going to do that. So we're going to go here, glide backwards, and glide on 2 feet. And then after we do that, then we can push out into a nice landing position. But we want to work on that until we get comfortable with doing it. All right, so now once we get used to doing that full rotation, what we're going to be doing is we're going to try to land on 1 foot. Doesn't have to be perfect first try, because this is obviously a new jump and it's going to be really difficult. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going backwards just like this. We're going to go on a nice outside edge, and we're going to flick, jump, and we're just going to try and land on 1 foot, and we're going to land into a landing position. And when we land, we want to make sure that we land with our foot crossed, and then we go into a nice landing position, because we don't want to just go up in the air and then just land with our foot out. So when you touch down on the ice, your legs are going to be crossed. So you're going to be going backwards here, outside edge, flick, jump, and land on 1 foot. And we're going to work on that from very minimal speed until we get nice and comfortable with it, and then we can slowly start to add more speed. Alright guys, so now that we have our single Lutz, what we're going to be doing is we're going to slowly start to add more speed using those takeoffs that I already showed you guys. So what we're actually going to be doing is whichever takeoff you choose to do, we're going to do it really small in here just to get that feeling of it. And then once we get comfortable with doing it, then we can start making our takeoff a little bit bigger, covering the rink more, and it's going to be a lot bigger and having more speed. So I'm going to show you guys what it's kind of going to look like when you have like that medium ground speed, and then I'm going to show you guys again what it should look like when you have full speed. Alright guys, so this is the end of the video. I hope that it helped you guys get your Lutz in figure skating, and if you already had your Lutz, it helped you guys get it better, or maybe this video taught you some new techniques that you already didn't know. So I hope that you guys enjoyed, and if you guys have any other requests for tutorials that I should do, leave those down below in the comments and I would be happy to do those for you guys. But I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Love you guys. Bye!